Welcome back to my Photoshop course on landscape photography. In this video, we are talking all about layer masking, which is really just one of the many things, but probably one of the most major things that does make Photoshop so incredibly powerful. So much you can do with layer masks when it comes to local adjustments as opposed to just regular global adjustments. Yes, in the last few years, Lightroom has improved their masking tools, but you still don't have quite the power that you have with Photoshop's layer masking. Now, let's go ahead and just jump right on in there. I don't want to waste a lot of time today. I'm going to be looking at this image for all of our layer masking stuff in this video. Now, this is going to be a beginner to intermediate video on layer masking, and I might touch on a couple of advanced layer masking topics that we may cover later on in the course. This is really for people that need to just understand what a layer mask is and how it works. Now, a layer mask can be applied to any layer, I think, any layer. As far as I'm aware, all the kinds of layers that I think you're going to use, you can apply a layer mask to. And you access it down here on this little like rectangle with a circle in it. Now, you use a layer mask when you want to just show a certain part of the layer. So let's say I make an adjustment here. Let me just create a brights contrast adjustment layer like we learned in the last video. If you're not familiar with the adjustment layers, make sure to watch that last video in the sequence here to make sure you understand that before we cover today's topics. So I make my brightness contrast adjustment. Let's say I want to add contrast and maybe I want to like decrease the brightness. I don't know. Something like that. And on adjustment layers, you can see it automatically creates the layer mask. If you create a layer that doesn't automatically create a layer mask, like just a new layer like that, you can create the layer mask right there. But on the adjustment layers, it automatically is created when you create that adjustment layer. Now, I like what this is doing to the sky, but I don't like what it's doing to the foreground. I don't want to darken the foreground. I actually probably want to brighten the foreground, but I definitely don't want to darken it like I've done here. So you can see before and after. Now this is where the layer mask comes in handy because right now this is being applied to everything on the image, but if I want to just apply it to a certain part, that's where I use the layer masking. Very similar to masking in Lightroom. Now you have 1,000 different ways that you can create a layer mask here, with the most simple being the brush. So let's talk about the brush first. So select your brush over here in your toolbar. If your toolbar doesn't look like this, make sure that you watch the first video covering the simplifying the Photoshop workspace so that we are all working on the same workspace here. Now, within our brush, we have lots of options up here. To be honest with you, I always leave the flow at 100 and I leave the smoothing at 100 and I leave the angle at 0 because we're using a circular brush, so it doesn't matter. All you need to worry about is clicking up here and worry about the size of the brush, the hardness, and the opacity. Size, hardness, opacity is the only 3 settings that you are going to adjust on the brush. Of course, make sure you're on soft round. For most cases where you're brushing on a layer mask, you're going to want to use 0% hardness. That makes it so that it applies, I'll show you here, with a very soft edge, as opposed to if my hardness was, say, 100, you can see it's not a soft edge. So we want that hardness to be at 0 so that when we apply the effect, it's very soft and feathered on the edge. Because if we use that harder edge, then we are going to have it's going to be a lot easier to see the effect that we've made. And we do not want everyone to know that we've brightened or darkened just one particular spot in our photo. Now, additionally, the size can be adjusted for whatever your image is, and depending on how many megapixels you have, like this is what 1000 pixels looks like on mine, but if you're shooting with a 20 megapixel camera, 1000 megapixel brush is going to look a lot larger. So just adjust the size based on what you're painting, and for this image, 1000 is fine for right now. We'll leave the opacity at 100 for the time being, but we're going to adjust this a little bit more later. Now, you have black and white right here within your brush, and this is going to control what color you paint. Now, when you're painting on a layer mask, if you paint black, it's going to conceal. So what people always say is white reveals, black conceals. So anything on our layer mask, which I can hold the option button and click, and I can see my layer mask. It's completely white right now, meaning everything on this layer is going to show through completely 100%. Nothing is hiding. Now, if I grab my black and white, which you can grab just like that again, I click on the layer and I paint black. I'll make this brush a little bit bigger. I'm just using the opening and closing bracket diagonal to the delete key. I can paint through here. And now there's obviously a lot better way to do this, but just for sake of example, I'm showing you. Now you can see the darkening is only in these top corners and down here where I missed paint, because look at my layer mask. All this black, just a little bit of white. White reveals, black conceals. So white is showing through this adjustment, this brightness contrast adjustment. This would work with any layer, whether it's a photo layer, whether it's camera raw, whether it's any of these adjustment layers. You can use a layer mask to paint out or paint in that effect anywhere in your image. Now this is just using the brush, and this is the most simple way to do it. And of course you could go back with the white brush and you could touch it up in certain spots. And additionally, the other thing that you need to understand is that black and white isn't the only two shades of color that you can use. You need to use either black or white, but my point here is that gray can also be used. So for example, let's go to black, or actually let's go to white. We'll paint back in a little bit, and let's drop the opacity of our brush. Let's say we go to about 30%. Now when I click on here, you can see now that we've created a little bit of gray. So it was black, and we painted 30% on there. Now this effect is partially showing through, but not all the way. You can see how it's partially showing through there. So we can use this to really fine tune this exactly how we want. Now, could we just click on our adjustment layer and go back up and make adjustments? Yes. But this is really helpful on the fly to be able to make some adjustments as you go. And you can click, it's at 30% opacity right now. So if I click once, that's 30%. If I click again, now it's like 60%, 90%, getting closer to 100%. You can click as many times as you need to create whatever color or whatever shade you need. So remember, white reveals, black conceals. Anything between black and white partially reveals and partially conceals. So you can see part of the adjustment. Now I'm going to get rid of this layer mask and put a new layer mask on here. Now, one thing to note, the brush is nice when you want to add like a little bit of glow, like if I wanted to add glow in the sky, but it's not good when I need to make a selection like this where maybe I just want to select the sky. Now, there's a lot of different ways that you can select the sky, a lot of different tools out there. My recommended way, I'm kind of old fashioned, there is like subject select tool and stuff like that, but I like to do it the good old fashioned way. So I click on my selection tools here, grab my quick select. I'm going to make this a little bit bigger. 100 hardness is fine for the quick select. All you need to do is adjust the size. You're never going to mess with any of these settings, in my opinion. And then click the plus. What the quick select does is it makes a selection. Now this selection is going to help us to create the layer mask. So within here, we've got the add or the subtract selection. I want to make this a little bit bigger. There we go. Now I can click and drag. Now you're going to see marching ants. Anything within the marching ants is being selected. Anything outside the marching ants is not. You can see I just clicked and dragged. There's no special trick here. It's a smart tool, and it is able to tell like, okay, there's a lot of contrast between this rock and this sky. So this is probably an object. So we'll go right up to the edge. And you can see it's not perfect. So you can go in and touch it up, which I'd highly recommend if you are going to do something like this. And Command 0 or Control 0 on PC to zoom back out. Now we've got a selection. Now let's go ahead and grab our brush, and let's go ahead. Let's grab our brush and we can start painting. So we are going to click on our layer mask, and I'm going to paint black. That will paint, and I'm going to go to 100% opacity so it works in quickly. That'll paint the effect out of the sky. Now I can hit Command D to deselect, and then Option, and then click. Now you can see this is our layer mask. So rather than having, that nice big feathered brush that we used before, now we have a really nice fine selection. So when we look at this, now you can see it's starting to look a lot more seamless because we've really nicely selected right up to the edge. So a few different things that you can do here. First of all, our adjustment is opposite of what we want. So right now you can see we are allowing this adjustment layer to show through on the foreground, but not on the sky, when in reality we want to do the opposite. Super quick and easy fix for that is to press Command I or Control I, that inverts. Now you can see that we are selecting just the sky and not the foreground. Talk about before and after. So now you can see I can use this to really fine tune the sky however I see fit. Maybe just like that. Now I'll show you a cool little trick here. If you hold Command or Control on PC and you click on your layer and we create another adjustment layer, let's say we wanted to do a curves layer, it'll automatically apply onto that curves layer. Now let's say I wanted to adjust the foreground. I can quickly and easily invert this layer mask, Command I or Control I. Now I've got a selection of the foreground. Now I can use the curve to dial this in however I want. Might want to bring up the blacks point. Maybe I want to bring up the shadows, bring down the brighter spots so there's less contrast. You know, whatever you want to do here, you can literally do anything with layer masks. Now you have access to many different ways to make layer masks and selections. And remember, a selection allows you so that you can paint or fill in a particular selection on your layer mask. It's very, very helpful. But I'll show you just where a few of the tools live. So if you're already comfortable with certain tools, then you'll know how to use them. Let's say I wanted to darken the foreground of this image here. We could go up. Let's just go to, let's do brightness contrast again. And we will drop the brightness. But I just want this really to be affecting the bottom of the image, not the whole image. I've got my gradient tool here. I love using the gradient tool. I'm going to use this one, which is, I believe is called the linear gradient. And we are going to click and drag. Oops, we need to go this way so that it is white to black. I'm going to soften this up a little bit. And then I might Command minus to zoom out. And I might drag this down. Just like that. Now you can see I'll press or I'll hold the Alt Option button and click on this. You can see this is my layer mask right now. You know, we could make adjustments here as needed, but you can see when I toggle this, now we've darkened the foreground. You can literally do this to anything in your image, which makes it so incredibly powerful. You also have access to your radial gradient here if you're comfortable with radial gradients. But otherwise, your selection tools up here are going to be your friend, like when you make elliptical marquees or rectangular marquees. Those can be nice to grab certain parts of your image. And remember, this makes, like if I wanted to put a layer mask on, I wanted to select something over here, I could do that and then just paint in with my brush, and that would keep me within the bounds here so I can make that. Now, that pretty much covers kind of the basics of layer mask. Remember, white reveals and black conceals. But there is a lot more complicated things that you can do with layer masking. And I'm going to cover luminosity masking in a future video down the road. If you're watching this video, months after it's come out, I probably already came out with this video. But if you are watching this as they get posted every week, then I probably have not came out with the video yet. But I want to show you kind of the power of luminosity masking. Let's just grab a curves layer and let's go up to select down to color range. Now, when I go to color range, this gives me, you have a lot of options, but I'm going to select highlights, midtones, or shadows, which this allows me to make a selection in my image based on the brightness values in the photo. This is very, very powerful because it allows me to select something like just the highlights, like the brightest parts of my image, or just the shadows, the darkest parts of my image, whatever you want to select. So for example, let's say I adjust these two settings, the fuzziness and the range. Both allow you to make adjustments. I usually do the fuzziness pretty much all the way at the top, and then I adjust the range to give me, if I make the range further to the right, it's going to give me just the brighter pixels. Further to the left is going to give me just the darker pixels. Now this is making a selection, but we're going to turn this selection directly into a layer mask, or it'll actually do it for us. So remember how our layer masks work. A lot of people get confused here, but it works the same as a regular layer mask. Anything that's white will show through on this curves adjustment. Anything that's black will not show through. Anything that's in between black and white will partially show through. So let's go ahead and click OK. Let that load out. Now we can go into our curve and adjust here, and you can see we're only affecting the really bright parts of the image that on the layer mask here are selected. So this can be a very powerful tool to adjust the darkest parts or the brightest parts of your image. Let's, just for practice sake, let's do the same exact thing again, but we're going to select the darks, color range, select shadows, fuzziness all the way up, and then adjust the range. We might have to drop the fuzziness down on this one because there's so much that is dark. Somewhere about in there. That's going to select the darkest darks for us. That's perfect. Now we go back in, we can raise those darks up or we can darken them down. Additionally, you could use the curve just like you normally would if you want to create a little bit of contrast in the darks. You can see just like that. So the possibilities truly are endless. That's kind of luminosity masking. I'll dive a little bit deeper into that later, but you can kind of see that's where we're working towards. Just remember that these layer masking can be used with literally anything that you want to do, whether it's a hue saturation, whether you go back up to your camera raw, anything like that. You can throw a layer mask on just about anything. Additionally, if you have a lot of layers that you want to use the same mask for, you can create a new group just like that. You can throw all your layers. Let's say we want to do curves, brightness, contrast, hue, saturation, throw it all in there. We can just put one layer mask on the group, which then everything within the group, you can see these 3 layers, will all be affected by this one layer mask. So that makes it very easy for a little bit of file management, or I guess control, organization is probably the word I'm looking for. Over here in the group. Groups are super helpful. I love using them all the time. Remember, you create the layer mask with this button right here if it doesn't automatically create. But if you are using adjustment layers, the layer mask will automatically be on that particular layer. Otherwise, your tools are over here. You can use whatever you want. The brush is the easiest but least powerful way that you can make a layer mask. The gradients are a very nice way to make layer masks as well. And then, of course, you have your quick selection when you want to select the sky or select the foreground. And when you do use the brush, don't ever hesitate to drop the opacity. Use a little lighter opacity in certain spots so the effect shines partially through. All right, well, I hope that made sense. Layer masks are very important. If you don't understand them, it's going to be really difficult for you to continue on in this course. So please, if you have any questions, let me know down below. I respond to all the comments, and I'll get back to you regarding your question, hopefully help you out. And of course, if this video was a little bit fast for you, feel free to pause and replay or even watch it again to really make sure you nail in that understanding of layer masks. They can be really tough for people, but once you understand them, it really unlocks a lot of capabilities and possibilities in Photoshop. Thank you guys so much for watching. This is Austin James Jackson. Can't wait to see you guys again next weekend. Hope you all have a good one. Bye-bye.